Yeah.
Okay. So like you said, challenges, someone meeting your energy. What about someone just say doesn't have the status that you have? That you have.
And so for me personally, status, that just kind of depends, because I look at it this way. If you can take care of yourself, you can take care of me.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that you have to make as much money as I do, or anything like that, because if you got your own house, your own place, that means you can manage your stuff. So that means that you can take care of me, or vice versa. I've got my own stuff. If something happens, I can take care of you, so we're, that's not a big thing for me, but chemistry, can we get along? How do we interact? All of those things are important for me, yeah.
So can I hear, just along those lines, just from some of the other panelists about that? So as you're dating, you get older, you're established, you've established your kingdom, and it's like, halt, who goes there? Make sure nobody's trying to target you or scam you. Or so have you come across anything like that, where you feel like, okay, it's all about my job, my car, what are you doing to the table? Has any of that, do you guys have challenges with any of that?
I don't tell what I do or anything like that. I may say I work with kids, but that's all I say. So I don't think it's I hate this thing where a guy says, well, what do you have to bring to the table? Well, honey, I thought you were the table. Okay, I'm gonna fix it. So whatever you bring, I'm gonna multiply it and make it more. But what do you bring to the table? I don't like that, but I take care of me every day. And I don't mind dating the garbage man to the president, because I feel like I can match whatever you or whomever. It doesn't matter to me. So I don't look at a person's job as long as they're able to take care of themselves. I totally agree with that. If he lives in an apartment and he's able to take care of himself there, he doesn't have to have a house. And he's got to have a car. That's a must. You have to have transportation. You don't have transportation.
You gotta have the transportation, habitation, a pension if you're over 50, right? Okay, so we gotta have some shuns going on, right?
Vacation.
Because I do want to take a vacation. Right. And I can do that on my own, or I can do that with the person who I'm with. So I'm open to whomever. So it doesn't just matter about, all the other rest. Have a job, be steady. Hopefully you've been on your job for a while, but.
But I want to revisit when you were talking about values, and that's the other challenge that I have, because, we talk about being raised up in Christian homes or whatever. For me, it's very important that it's not about the church, you need to have a relationship with Christ for me personally, because that's what I have, and that dictates how I move, and so that's one of the things that's very important to me. And a lot of times, that's not the case sometimes for people that you meet.
Right.
And so automatically we're unevenly yoked because, you're on a different playing field than I'm on.
So have you dated a non-believer or an atheist or?
Not necessarily an atheist, but people that this part of their life is not important to them. And so for me, I don't waste people's time. Typically on the first or second date, you can tell that if this is something that you want to pursue or not. And so even if they want to pursue, and I know that that's not the thing that's going to work for me, then I'm not going to continue on, because, it would be nice to be in a relationship and to be married, but I don't hate being single. I'm a whole person, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm good with myself, and so it would be, if somebody were to come into my life, that would be adding to my life, not making my life, so. But yeah, I don't have a problem with just, if I don't see that it's going to work, just not, moving forward.
Okay.
hear what you're saying,
Uh-huh.
but as a man, I go to church. I do have a relationship with God, and I listen to my gospel. But I like some SOS band and some Lakeside. My thing is, I'm like, I can listen to Kurt, I can listen to all of that on Sunday. But if I'm out there washing the car and I got some Lakeside or some SOS, I'm like, oh my God, oh no, because it takes you back to when you was.
No, but that's not what I'm
If that bothers you, I'm sorry for you. I don't know.
But I never said that
No.
bothered me. So I said that dictates how I move. My radio station's on Neo Soul right now.
Get it.
That's not what I'm saying. You know, I'm just saying, but
Don't just lock
that
it
dictates.
down.
What I'm
Okay.
saying is that dictates how I move as it relates to my
Okay.
standard of living and how I do things.
Okay.
You know, I'm not saying I'm some, fuddy-dud that don't enjoy life, because that's not true, But what I'm saying is, but for me, a personal relationship with Jesus Christ dictates how you move.
Yeah, I want to jump in there because when I talk about the religious side of it, like I have a relationship with God, but no, I'm not that one that I get up every Sunday and every Wednesday and go to church.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still listening to my music. I feel like I have a balance with my life.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And I swing out, dance, I skate. I mean, I do all kind of stuff. So it's not like so when I say that, I'm saying that because I need to make sure that that person has boundaries.
Mhm.
I think that foundation with Christ keeps the boundaries going, where we don't just be all over the place. Because if I'm not married, I have some things that's just like, I'm not going to be doing. And I'm not saying, the sexual and all that. I'm 56 years old, okay? So, I'm not talking about that, but I'm just saying, it just kind of helps the relationship for me. It keeps some kind of boundaries for me.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not being negative, like, the church thing is not. Like, I
It's
can't do
important.
nothing.
It's
I'm still
relevant.
out, and I still
You're
have
absolutely
dreams.
right.
I mean, I'm doing things. So I'm not,
No, and I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I'm saying for me.
yeah.
Everybody
has-
because everybody has their, and it's not that I don't want to go out or do anything
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, because I love to have fun. I
Yeah.
do
But it's
things
going to
that
dictate
but it
who you go out with,
Exactly.
maybe
Yeah.
where you're going to go, your
Right.
selection and
Exactly.
entertainment, that kind of
Exactly.
thing, what you
Right.
find as entertaining or what have you.
Yeah.
So just to shift a little bit, I've heard several of you say that you have grown children, and I know at this phase in life, some of us, we have grown kids, or, we are, maybe have parents living with us, or maybe we are caregivers to family members. So any challenges with any of that when you're dating? I mean, do we take those things into consideration, that, hey, her mom lives with her, or, that kind of thing. So let me hear a little bit about that.
I got 2 grown kids at home. I'm taking care of my mama and my daddy both. That could be stressful. What do y'all think?
Oh, it's rough. Like I said, I have a 27-year-old daughter. She constantly comes to me. She comes to me, Daddy. I said, sweetheart, you gotta remember, what I tell you is different from when I dated your mother and so forth and so on. Trying to get her to understand the way her parents raised her. I had to tell her, they even had that conversation with my ex-wife last week. We're sitting there talking, I said, we raised our daughters for a world that no longer exists. We're having to make a shift to try and keep them. I mean, I don't try to run their lives. My former spouse, she tries to do more. I try to, you gotta let them grow up. They're over 21, sit on the couch, trying to get them open to grad school. Our job is technically, as far as I'm concerned, to be their number one advisors. They'll ask me questions, and certain questions, you don't ask me those, because I'm not supposed to give you that answer.
Exactly.
Now, I've always said, if I catch you doing something I think is detrimental, I'll be the first one to tell you. And so far, they've paid attention to what little wisdom I may have tried to impart. But when it gets back to your dating concept, my daughter's been out with friends, we've gone to barbecue. They're like, Daddy, you ought to date her. Well, I said, that's because I have a tendency to tell jokes. Yes, that works. I learned that as a child. You can make a woman laugh, you can probably have a conversation with her.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean she wants to be involved with me outside of this environment.
Exactly.
I mean, if you look at just how do you find somebody to date? First thing you do is you see them. You look for certain aspects. Okay, as a man, young man, first, as a young child, first thing I'm not ashamed to say, a woman with a large breast. The first thing thing I ever got attracted to. You know, early teen, ooh, I didn't care if your face looked like a mule. I didn't look like Oliver.
I guess I'm soulful because I'm about that.
First you didn't get.
Right.
Then, you switch out from that, oh, she got some nice thighs. As you age, you start to realize that, wait a minute, it's not just the humps and the bumps. It's not just the face. You'll catch all of that. And then your mind, one day, maybe it's just me, I got lucky. Maybe I got hit in the head one time, so in the military. It's like, hold up, you want a package deal. What did your parents instill in you as a child? What did you see? And like I say, I came from a two-parent home when my father died, and had a bunch of my friends. We never knew the difference because it was a community back then. It didn't matter whether the Gibson family was whole, the Gill family was broken up, the Fraser family. It was just, you were able to see healthy families around the block. You got to grow up. You got to learn what you're looking for. And eventually, you get to the point like, she ain't got to be a 10 in the face and all that. No, it's got to be something that, as you said, it sits in your soul. You start meeting people, you learn how to talk to people, you call it interview or whatever you want. You're interviewing their representative out the box that first month, right? So within a month, Tracy comes out. And I
You've had the stalkers too. I've had stalkers.
I almost got stalked one time.
No, I got stalked
divorced.
before.
And it scared me. I almost called my friend. We need to rethink this. I think we need to sit down and talk. I almost went back to Mike's wife and said, hey, we need to have a conversation. I don't like being out here.
It's hard to call the streets.
I'm fully employed. I'm one of the meanest people in the world when it comes to doing my job. If you're an average, I was here to Jack Diddley till I retired. Because I was like, look, I'm going to do my JOB and I'm going to do it. But at that point, it's like, nah, stop, you're wrong, man. You just have to reevaluate. This one was a little different. Story, okay, I'll give you the story. We were in a group. We used to do karaoke on Wednesday night. I was the oldest person there. And back then, I'd only been divorced about 2 years or so. And I had to stand in line. Look, if you're looking for somebody that you can talk to, you can hang out with, and that's all it's going to be, line me up. I'm the number one man. I just got out of a 20-year marriage. I'm not trying to do anything else. I'm trying to get my mind back. Because, if you've been divorced, you know how much that devastates you. You may look good on the outside,
Yes.
but you are destroyed deep down inside. It takes a while to figure out what's wrong with you. And it's like, look, if you just need somebody, we can go to movies, we can talk, we can laugh, go to dinner. I ain't got no problem with that. But if you're trying to find a relationship, I'm not what you want right now.
Right.
I was being honest.
I'm dangerous right now.
Yeah. So, this lady in the group, I was like, hey, we go to a movie, and this, that, the other. I thought I projected what I was doing. I did, hey, like the fade, like the, I did that. I didn't play that role. I was just like, look, I'm just trying to find somebody to socialize with as I return to the fold, per se. So at that time, I'm working as a surveillance specialist in the FBI. So we were always getting along down. I was gone for a couple of weeks to go to East Texas. I come back, and I come to karaoke, because, y'all, you don't care what you look like. I'm working. I don't care. I need to look like whatever on the street. So you go back, you see your barber, you get cleaned up. I show up at karaoke. And it's like, hey, Dwayne, the lady, hey, Dwayne.
You like me like that.
Shower.
Good
I
idea.
just got a fresh haircut. My fade was tight. I was like, what's going on? And so I'm in there like 20, 30 minutes, and not one woman is like, you know how y'all do. You know how we do stuff. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne. I'm like, well, something is wrong. I'm the smartest people you can
What you say? I get
But I
paid to
get
pay
one or
attention.
two. It's
I
like,
get paid
something's
to pay
going on
attention.
that I don't know about. Been gone 3 weeks.
Right.
So then I go back and okay, let's be an investigator. Let's politely ask questions to get answers to see what happened to me. Come to find out, this young lady she decided that the young ladies, I wasn't chasing none of them at the time. There was interest. I didn't know, didn't care. She had found out there were a number of them. Because they didn't know, like 3 people in the group knew what I did. Everybody else just thought I was just some dude who rode a motorcycle and had fun. She had gone around to these young ladies while I was gone, telling them in the DM, hey, if you were looking at Dwayne, you might want to think about something else. We're working on a serious relationship. And I was like,
Come again. All right. Where we do this at?
That's what I said. And I was like, hold up, I didn't sign And, you know, and that was the closest I've ever got to being stalked, you know, her driving by the venues we were at. It's like,
Mm.
I'm thinking, what am I carrying tonight? Yeah, that's big enough. I'm good. I mean, and I never understood, honestly, what it was like for a woman to be stalked. I mean, I had my perspective as a man in law enforcement, what I was supposed to do to protect them. I never understood how vulnerable you are.
Yeah,
You know, and I was paid to, you know, take people's freedom.
exactly.
And I was like, ooh, this ain't cute.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not cute.
I've been through that situation on several occasions.
It's not cute.
You've been stalked or
Yeah, I've
you've
been
done
stalked
stalking?
multiple times. I don't chase a woman. I pursue a woman because anything that want to get chased, if you looked at any animal, planet, anything that's being chased, not trying to get caught. So I'm not going to chase anyone. I'll pursue you, but you know, for to be pursued, you have to stop and be caught. So I've been through that before. It's different being. Not only am I in law enforcement, but I've also modeled before. So beauty doesn't move anything for me. You can be as beautiful, but you can be as shallow as anything. You know, and so I see things differently. I've been married twice. I'm the divorcer, not the divorcee,
Okay.
and I'm rare.
Oh, can you say that again?
I'm the
Say it so the
divorcer.
audience can
I'm
hear
the
it.
divorcer, not the divorcee.
Okay.
And while going through those divorces, I also initiated counseling because I wanted to look in the mirror and make sure that I didn't want to look in the mirror and say coulda, shoulda, woulda. Because I want to make sure that I did everything that I possibly could as a man, as a husband, that I did the right thing.
Right.
Okay. So, and also with as he was saying, that we as women, you have a built-in security blanket. You have a built-in group. We don't.
You don't walk up to your homeboys.
No,
Hey, man,
no, you
man,
can't.
let me tell you about
Let me tell you about
this.
this.
Going up out of here.
Y'all, you have Mary J. Blige, you got your girlfriends, y'all can listen to albums. We can't go up to each other and say, man, I'm hurt.
Oh.
So a lot of women say, do y'all not feel? Yeah, we feel, but we feel silently.
Okay.
We feel silently because I can't, if that's my boy right there, I can go to him, but I can't go to him.
No, you can't drop everything. You can get
Yeah, I can get
pieces.
bits and pieces. You can cry to her, eat some ice cream, and see we go to each other. Hey man, first thing our boys gonna say, man, let's go have something to drink. Let's go to the strip club. Let's do this. So we don't have to
All
feel.
day.
So we don't have to feel. You can feel.
Wow.
We can't feel because it shows a side of weakness. Just like being around our woman. If we wanted to really be original and be genuine with our woman, we don't know if that woman has been through enough pain that she doesn't feel that we don't feel anything. We don't feel anything. Oh, he doesn't cry, he doesn't do this, and we in the shower going.
You got tears rolling, your head is down.
We sitting there.
You sit
we in
there
pain.
yourself. Yeah.
We're in pain. But y'all don't understand it. Y'all think, well, he shows weakness. That make him a simple punk or less than a man. No, my name is her man.
I mean,
But we would like to know that. We
No,
would,
but
we as women,
but that's not something because the society has made you hardened to
you
what
could be
we
hard
doing.
out there. But
No,
in
but,
here,
but as I was saying earlier, a woman is supposed to be our sanctity, supposed to be our comfort, supposed to be our because even Superman has kryptonite.
thank you. Well, look at it like this. How do you raise a young boy and a young girl? How are we raised? We're all around the same age. Your daddy threw you out to go play baseball with your friends. You come home scarred up, and that's my boy.
Yeah.
Now, his daughter, no, baby, you stay in the house. I'll get you some dogs. You go in
That's
the
it,
yard.
that's it,
You know,
that's
I'll
it.
get you
you
a
ain't
puppy.
dating nobody.
Yeah, I get
Now,
you.
your brother's got to clean up the puppy.
Yeah, that's it. That's
You are my princess, yes. I
Yeah,
my
yeah,
daughter's
my
not into
baby.
that. But that's, I mean, it's a basic breakdown of how we're reared. Well, how we were reared, like I said before.
Yeah.
Right.
The world we grew up in is gone. The world we live in today it's crisscrossed.
But does it have to be?
It shouldn't.
Does it have to
shouldn't.
be gone? Because within your relationship, you make that what you want it to be. If
Right, I
you
agree.
want to be
Right,
able to
yes.
cry in a woman's arms or sob, then you make her that safe place.
Well, if she's
You know,
not
you do
that,
that,
but
but if you don't,
make
you
her-
can't.
understand
No,
what
you know what
you're
I'm,
saying.
no, I'm
Make
saying, I'm
somebody-
saying from a man's perspective, if you think I can't go to her because she's going to be weak or whatever, you choose to go to her, is what I'm saying, not make her. as
And
if-
not only
No.
that,
Does
not
that make
only
sense?
that, but the other thing too is, and that's why it is important that the people that we connect ourselves with, you know, because, you know, I was listening to you and I grew up with a brother, okay? Just my brother and I were only like a year and a half apart. And I know I'm his sister and I'm not in a relationship with him and that's different, but he will do the very same things that you said. He will, if he's having an issue, if he wants to cry, he will do that with me. And maybe that's because I'm his sister. I don't know how he is in his relationships, but because
Sure,
I
safe
have,
place.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So, and you took the words right out of my mouth, because I am a safe place. But what I'm saying is, when we are choosing people in our lives, women in our lives, you have to get to know these people before we get into these relationships with them, to see if they are, or if they can be a safe place. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot
Because, you know,
of sense.
sometimes when
Yes.
we're choosing, you know, and you talked about it earlier, you know, some of us are still choosing based on what people look like or what people do or what people, and we jump into these things without really
Right.
getting to know who people are before. And I know we don't really know people until we live with them and all those things, but there are signs. I don't care what anybody says. You see the signs. But a lot of times when we put sex and all these things
First.
in
Yes.
first,
Yes.
and don't let the sex be good, then your mind is clouded. You know what I'm saying? You know, because your mind is clouded at this point. This could be
But you
serial
know
killer
there's
number
still-
one over here. And because the sex is good, you looking over serial killer number one. You know what I'm saying? So we don't, before we need to get to know people before we jump into these relationships that don't let us
Right.
open our mind to who people really are, I think is what it is. Because I would appreciate a man who
Yes.
felt like
Yes.
he could, because I am supposed to be his safe place.
Right.
So if there's something going on, you need to be able to
Right.
come to me and say that, honey, you know, I'm having this issue, you know,
Right.
and I need, you know. So, but I think our pickers are off sometimes, you know.
Not really figures. How about, like I said, how we're raised. Some people are raised on survival, and some have love.
And I guess
And
that's
That
the
makes a
difference.
lot of sense.
Yeah, because we were raised with love, so that's
Yeah.
probably why my brother is the way he
Survival,
is.
there's
Yeah.
going to be animosity because the survivalist is used to always being in an argument. And,
Mhm.
fighting with and the lover wants to love. I want to talk to you.
Just working
You know, you want the intimacy
Yes.
per se.
Yes.
You want to talk
Yes.
and communication, men and female talk together.
Yeah.
If you put those three variables together, it can either work
Yes.
or it can explode. That's what we're looking for.
Okay,
Yes,
so I have a question. Okay, since you were talking about love, okay, a challenge over 50. Let's get back to that. You mentioned love. Do you all think that you can fall in love with someone, or are you just like, I just want to be with somebody. I'm not gonna worry about falling in love with them. I love them, or is there a difference to you love them or being in love? Personally, I think there's a big difference.
I think so.
Loving
Yeah,
someone
there is.
and being in love with that
There
person.
is. There's you, because we're at our age.
Yeah.
Right.
We can fall in love, but then there's people who is in love with the idea of being in love.
Right.
You know, that's totally different now.
I think those are your stalkers.
Mm.
Because they're in love with the
Their idea of
idea.
being in love.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Would
it's
you
a
give
stalker.
someone or marry someone after 50, of course, because you wasn't really in love with them? I just love that person. I like hanging with them. You know, I think that makes a good companion. You know, they got their own thing. You know, I'm doing my thing. We, get together and be a power couple more or less. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not really in love with them.
So basically, I think you can you may really like someone and you may love them, but I think love grows as you get to know people.
That's true.
I mean, even just think about even with your friendships. You know, you meet a person and you like them, but as you interact with them, you grow to love them more. You know what I'm saying? So, because love it's not just the emotion that we think it is. Love, you know, I think our pastor says it, is caring more for another than you do for yourself.
Agape.
Yeah. So,
But I think it's a choice.
it is a choice.
I think love is
Yeah.
a choice
Yeah. It is definitely
because
a
you
choice.
choose to love. I think you have the fat years where you're just all,
Mhm.
and then you have your skinny years where you like,
No, you
What you like, whole weight loss program, right then. What was that about? What do a whole weight loss program?
I'm like, but you know, you choose to continue to
Absolutely.
love that person.
Absolutely.
You choose to continue to give them the same thing you gave them when you were in those fat, lovey-dovey years, you know. So love is a choice. And if you choose to marry your best friend, then hopefully you choose to love them.
A relationship is a roller coaster. It
work every day.
has its highs and it has its lows. The lows is from the lows. When you go through the lows, that's the growth. That's the growth. When
Absolutely.
you're going through the lows, that's the growth. It's
Right.
the high times. It's a cloudy day. It's not the sunshiny day. Always have sunshiny days.
Right.
You can make your sunshiny days.
Right.
Pause. That's a good point. We're going to take a break before we talk about the sunshiny days, and then we'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
These messages.
Let's quiet a while.